And and we're live. Welcome, welcome everybody to the Mum-Freedom-Preneurs Hangout. And I'm Valerie Jampolsky here in Los Angeles. We're going to be talking today. Our topic, we're going to be discussing conscious parenting with non-resistance. And before we get into that, I'm going to quickly go across the panel. Everybody, we're all going to say hi. Like I said, I'm Valerie Jampolsky, the Abundance Mum-Freedom-Preneur from Abundance Now, and I am a single mom. I got twin 5-year-old boys, and I am going to do a naked killer because I got one of them here passed out next to me. They're still getting over the whole jet lag thing, and we spent a few weeks in Bali with a bunch of us, and yeah, he's but I think he might just stay passed out. I do this. I do what I do here because so I can be home with my kids. I used to be entertainment attorney, and I decided to have kids on my own actually, and I'll just never forget. I was sitting in my office, just pregnant to the gills with my twins, surrounded by my books, and having this massive realization that if I didn't do something to change my life and how I was doing things, I was never going to see my kids. They'd be raised pretty much by nannies, never mind daycare, pre-care, after school, all that stuff. I would never see them. I'd be lucky if I took them in at night. And then I also had this also massive, sort of like an epiphany that, I was very miserable doing what I was doing, and I knew that there was something more for me that I could give. So part of that, which is doing the hangouts like this, talking about stuff like this, talking about abundance, all the things that really matter to really, for me, that really feed my soul. Anyways, so I am going to pass it on over. I'm going to see, I don't know, Cherry, if you've got your video up. As soon as we can see you've got your video, I'm going to go quickly over first to CJ. CJ, there, yeah, you there? Yay.
Hey, sorry, I'm super excited. My brother-in-law just got engaged, and I just found out, so I'm like, oh yeah, like,
congratulations!
Wedding!
Yay!
I literally just found out, like, right now. I just got the message from my new sister-in-law, so I'm all excited.
Awesome news.
Hey, I'm CJ. I'm from Florida. I'm a stay-at-home mom to 3 amazing boys, and I was not always this blessed. I worked for corporate America for 14 years, and during that time period, I would work Monday through Saturday from 12 to 16-hour days. So I hardly ever got to see my babies, and I was not with them that much, but now I'm with them all the time. This is also our first year of homeschooling, so I'm on that new journey of my life as well, and I'm enjoying every moment of it. But otherwise, I just live a wonderful, blissful life of being a mother with 3 boys and just taking every moment and every day as it comes, because it only happens once. And once it's gone, it's gone.
This is true. This is so true. I love how you always put it that way. I am going to come across now over to Fizza. I'm just going across my panels the way I see it. Fizza.
Hello everyone, how are you all? My name is Fiza Khan and I'm from Burke, New South Wales, Australia. It's a small town, and I am mother of a 9-year-old daughter. Being a mother and being a parent, it's a great responsibility to look after kids and just teach them what is good and what is bad. So right now my daughter is in that stage where I have to tell her, because she's now in a growing stage. So yes, I am trying my level best, and it's being a parent, we should have a very good relation with our kids. So let's see what we will come up to, and thank you, Lucy, for selecting the very powerful topic, and hope we all learn from each other, and let's see.
Absolutely, and let everybody know what time of day it is for you there in Australia.
Oh dear, it's 1 a.m., but I had a good sleep. That's why I'm looking so fresh today. And it's Tuesday. Tuesday has been started here.
Yeah.
And look at this. Look at this small world. You are in morning. I am in Tuesday, early morning. It's Tuesday already started here. It's 1 a.m.
We're literally all over the world in this hangout. I'm in Los Angeles, and it's a little after 8 and a little after 1 in the morning for you in Australia. We're talking to Tuesday, and going up next, we're going over the pond, shall we say, over into Europe. I'm going over to Lucy.
Hello. Hiya, I'm Lucy from lifelongeandignity.com. I have 3 almost all grown-up boys. One is 23, who's literally just walked in my front door. I didn't expect him, he's just come in. My other son is 20. I actually have his son with me at the moment, my 18-month-old grandson. And my third son is 15. Oh. And he's upstairs. And Lewis, I'm online, so... yeah, I'm in the UK. I'm actually in South Wales. And any noise in the background, you can thank my eldest son for. You can say hello, actually. Say hello. Hello. It's just become a bit chaotic here unexpectedly, so if I pop off, ladies, you'll understand. But yeah, that's me. Thanks for having me, darlings.
Well, we may since you came up with the topic, we may have to actually start it once we go across the panel. Give it again. It's good about to get cookie for you over there. Okay, I'm going to come over to Agnes. Oh, Agnes, you need to unmute her.
I know.
Okay.
Hi guys, my name is Agnes Lebényi, and originally I'm from Hungary, but I live here in Hollywood, Florida, the last 15 years. I have a 3-year-old beautiful son, and you know, like most of them, everybody knows them. Like for most of the moms, you know, then he's the love of my life. And I'm really, really excited about the subject, and I am so ready to learn from you guys.
Oh, great. And Cherry, you're up next, girl. I don't know if you got your video going, if you can talk.
Yeah, can you see me?
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh.
Yeah, we still can't see you, babe. Can't see her, and there's no camera.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but I could see myself. But hi, everyone. My name is Cherry, and good morning from Berkeley, California. I'm a mom. I have a 5.5-year-old daughter. She's still actually asleep, but I have to wake her up in maybe an hour, you know, getting ready for school. It's a Monday morning. And my background basically is corporate finance, and I worked in corporate for more than 15 years. And it's not really the same as corporate America because I was working in Switzerland. But just the same, when I had my daughter, I'm really committed to being a full-time mom. So when I had her, after my maternity leave, I just quit my job. I wanted to stay for a few months longer, but I decided to quit my job when my supervisor basically, you know, called me one time in his office and scolded me for being late for 15 minutes. And he knows, and I called before that and said, I'm going to be late because I was breastfeeding. But, you know, he made a big deal out of it. And I thought, you know what? My daughter is the most important person in my life. This is just a job. If you don't know how to appreciate me, then this is not, you know, this is not for me. So I don't compromise when it comes to my daughter, as you can all, I'm sure, appreciate that. So yes, you know, I'm a happy mom, and now I really like working from home because I get to spend a lot of time with my daughter. I sometimes wish that she doesn't have to go to school, so hopefully I'll homeschool her like Val and CJ. So there you go, guys, and it's nice to be here.
Yay! I'm so excited. I'm so excited you're here. I didn't even know that part to your story, Cherry. That's cool. That's so powerful. That's really powerful. Good going on you, girl. Okay, so I'm going to pull you up, Lucy, to actually start us off on the topic because I know it was your idea and you've got some really great thoughts on all this. Oh, I think you need to unmute, babe. Yeah, you need to unmute still.
I came up with the topic because basically, I mean, conscious parenting to me is allowing our children to find themselves, but to have their own sense of responsibility for their actions, to allow them to discover the world around them without actually being dictated to as to how they should see it, and to question.
Yeah.
To question. Yeah. Now, I feel like I missed out with my opportunity with my kids. I was working full time, but I got my grandson now, and although it's a little removed, I can't take responsibility for that side of things. You know, I would like to just to try and have a little influence in, you know, in that way, because a lot of people that I know, a lot of people that I've met tend to try and live their lives, or the lives they haven't lived, through their children. Does anyone else see a lot of that?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's a very unconscious way of dealing with your kids, is to try and, I mean, the perfect example would be, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but the child beauty pageants, that kind of thing, I've got a real issue with that kind of thing. It's lovely if the child wants to do it, but so many parents I've seen actually dictate to their kids that they need to do this sort of thing. That's a very unconscious way of bringing a child up.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So to me, it's just allowing my kids or my grandchild to be themselves, and to have a say in the disciplinary side of things as well. Yeah, I gave my youngest son the chance to actually tell me how he thinks he should be disciplined, or if he does something he shouldn't have. Yeah, that kind of idea.
That's cool. That's a powerful way to be able to make choices. Because I'm gonna hop out here. I don't know how much you guys know and all this about me at all, but in my prior life and all this, I was actually a child and family therapist. So Joan, hey Joan, you're here. Before I get into it, let's quickly bring out Joan so Joan can introduce herself, and then we're going to dive more into the topic. Joan, you want to pop out? We've already gone across the panel. If you want to just a quick introduction on yourself.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much. Thanks for allowing me to be here again. This is awesome. I love this panel of women. I just want to say hello. My name is Joan. I am a stay-at-home mom of 3 boys, a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old. And it's just so fun to be with them, to be able to stay home with them and be able to just be here for them like everybody else here on the panel. So excited to be here and very grateful, and I'm really excited about this topic. So thank you all so much, and I'll bring it back to you, Val, so I don't waste any more time.
So glad to see you there. Hi. I love this hanging with all the kids coming out. So yeah, I'm actually trained as a child and family therapist. I'd put out an app. It was like on how to communicate. Very much into, I don't know how any of you know about this, but Marshall Rosenberg's teachings is called Nonviolent Communication, which is all about having communication with your kids in a way that does not actually involve punishment. And it involves, and I'll be honest with me. Initially, I'd gone through some very stressful things in my life, and one of the hardest things I was finding was to actually live and breathe what this teaching is all about. And one of the first things I'll say, just from the inside of it as a mom, is that if you have stress, if you're personally stressed, if you have financial stress, if you have any kind of stress in your life, and oftentimes we unconsciously take it out on our kids. And so one of the biggest things in terms of being able to really communicate with our kids is to be able to have ourselves sorted. I know when I'm not in the right space, I can say things and do things where I don't even know who I'm channeling. And I'll say channeling because I really don't think any negativity is connected to who we really are. Who we really are we have this ability, but this idea of being able to look at our kids, and instead of like coming up with a disciplinary action, find out what's really going on, because underneath every action is a beautiful need. There's a need for something. There's a need for fairness, a need for communication, a need to matter. It's a big one with kids, a need to matter. All these different things that our kids, that we can relate to on a very beautiful level, what their actual needs are. And they're just going about their strategy of how to meet that need is not helpful, and maybe helping other people meet their needs, right, for other things. And there can actually be a way to communicate where you get to the core, where the kids can literally understand, become aware of their own feelings and needs, like learning how to discover what their own feelings and needs are, And once they know that you get what their feelings and needs really are, and they have awareness, because sometimes they don't even know. It's becoming self-aware of their of emotions and what's going through them. And then they can hear what your needs and feelings are, and together you can come up with solutions to solve the needs, which is actually quite different from saying, you did something bad and you get to choose what your punishment is. I don't know how you would react, but if an adult came to you and said, you did something bad, and we have to figure out what your punishment is, or, hi, honey, you did something bad, and we have to figure out what your punishment is. So you get to choose. What would you like that to be? I mean, I'd probably tell them to go, excuse me, but go take a flying hike. I did as a teenager. I mean, that was my reaction to it. I was just like, you know, F you, really. It's kind of how I reacted. I was serious, rebelled against anything like that. And there's another way. I mean, I might be really stepping on toes right now, but I don't know. Something is telling me to speak to this. There is another way of being, and it is challenging because I was brought up with something quite different, and I don't live it. I don't breathe it all the time, and that's my biggest challenge, is to really, you know, instead when something pops up, to take what I call taking a deep breath and first acknowledging your own feelings and needs. For me, it's usually, oh, I wish things were easier. I wish I had more ease. I wish this was, you know, at this moment I would rather have the kids getting along rather than fighting or whatever. I wish there was ease in my life. It's a need for ease, which is usually with all this other stuff going on. Acknowledge that, and then be able to step in and go, honey, are you sad? Are you frustrated because you want to know that you matter? You just keep guessing, guess. And they'll tell you, when you've hit the right answer as to what it is, you get this little sigh. Something will happen. You go, yeah. Especially see it with Jaden, like, oh, this little sigh will come out. Like, oh, you get me, you get where I'm at. And until you get to that, and it might take 10, 15 minutes even to get to it, but I've learned the time that it takes to do it. I mean, they've done studies with this. This is like just a method of communication. They've done studies with this, that even like with marriages and stuff, you've got couples that maybe for 20 years have been dealing with the same issue over and over and over and over again, and maybe it takes half an hour to get to the underlying issue, but once that's done, it's like in one person, you know when someone really gets you, just get where you're coming from, you know, that it's easier to trust and to, like, there's just something about it. Then at that point when you say, okay, well, let's brainstorm, let's figure out a way that you can get this and you can get that. We'll find a way to make it happen. And then there's a brainstorming of solutions, which is, you know, coming up with an agreement of what's going to work. And sometimes the agreement works and sometimes it doesn't, and then you come back to it and say, well, we thought that would work. We thought that was meeting needs, everybody's needs, but it's actually not. So let's go back to it. I need this and you need that. Let's come back again and we'll figure out how we can make this work so that we meet everybody's needs. You know, whatever those needs are. You know, a mom might, you know, need to get things done on time. You're worried for their health and safety. You want them to get rest. I mean, we have all our own needs, and they have their needs, and finding a way to find that balance. And I know, CJ, you're all about structure, but I mean, I think there's really a way to do it where instead of always fighting for kids to fit into a structure, that you can pull together something where if there's an understanding of needs, to create a joint agreement for a structure that works for everybody, you know, for whatever that is. And it's a very different way of doing things. And I'll be honest, it's a challenge for me. And when I've dealt with stress in my life, the first thing that goes out the window is my ability to do this. It takes a lot of personal determination, because I know for me what happened, and I don't want my kids to be as alienated as I was from my parents. I love my parents. They've transformed. They're not the same people I grew up with, but I mean, I wanted to be as far away from them as humanly possible. And the relationship just fell apart, and I want my kids to want to trust me and talk to me and be with me. And if I would continue doing some of the things I was doing, guaranteed they would go off, do whatever they want to do, and not be open to hearing me and communicating with me, especially when they're older, and especially when they're, you know, I would want them to be able to trust to reach to me, that I'm not going to come at them with a judgmental punishment attitude. because I just really feel strongly that people don't respond well to somebody that wants to force something down your throat. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. You know, and what ends up happening is you end up with kids that do things the way you want them when you're looking, and their whole thing is what can they get away with. You know, it works as long as you're around them all the time, but the moment you're not, they're going to do whatever the hell they want to do, and especially when they get older and they start to get even more independence. I mean, I know I was living proof of the other end of it. So, you know, there's an entire school of thought. There's books that you can read with much more detail on how this works. This has been for over 40 years. If you want to research, it's called Nonviolent Communication, Marshall Rosenberg. There's books, there's studies, there's courses, there's like stuff up the wazoo on it. They've even done this with tribes, you know, feuding tribes in Africa, where they've gotten them at a table. And on either side, if you want to talk about punishment, either side had killed other members of their families. They literally killed other men, and there was a lot of negative emotion, as you can imagine, when you're sitting across the table of somebody that's killed a loved one of yours. And they were able to work through to a common understanding and really heartfelt understanding of the other's needs and come up with solutions that did not involve violence, that did not involve some form of quote-unquote punishment. I mean, if fueling tribes in Africa can do this, you know, we can do this with our kids. It just takes a serious commitment to the process of it, and it is challenging as all hell, because I will tell you my reaction when one kid is screaming, you know, and the other one, it's to come up with something very different coming up from within. So, anyways, I know I threw something really controversial out on the table there, but the topic raised, I've decided I'm going to be authentic and true to myself, and this is something I haven't spoken about in a long time, mainly because initially as a parent I was not living it. It is really challenging to do this. My reaction is to get upset when I see my kids doing something, especially if one hits the other one. You know, it's hard. It's hard to not react to something that is, for me, an abhorrent way to behave. But anytime any child does anything, anytime any of us does anything, we have a really beautiful need. We're just not going about it. A methodology is just not the best way of doing it. But the underlying need is actually beautiful. There's a beautiful, positive need that is attempting to be met by the violent behavior, you know, whatever it may be, or the behavior that's just not working for everybody. And that's honestly the solution. I really feel the solution for everything, all relationships in life. And there's an entire, like, there's so much volumes of information. I just touched the tip of the iceberg on it. But I'm going to pass it on over. Who wants to pop out next? We can go across the panel. Do you want
Val,
to?
can I?
Yeah, Lucy. Sure.
One little thing. When I said discipline, I hope you didn't think I meant as in punishment. I meant as in making amends, if you like, for something that they shouldn't have done. Just making amends. Yeah? Bless you. Bless you.
Come on. Up now, so we can see them.
God bless you, Val. Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry, muting my sneezes.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you could you give an example of like a situation and stuff? Sometimes it like things operate in like the theory mode, and then the exact examples I find usually most helpful.
When my two eldest boys were younger, for example, they would fight. They still fight now, actually, but they'd fight. And if one had done something to hurt, physically maybe hurt the other, it would be more of a case of, well, what can you do to make that up and not to do it again? And I always thought that there was a positive intention behind anything that might seem negative. Usually, I think probably a self-protection thing, I would think. And we do it. We still do it, and we still do it as adults. We can sometimes lash out negatively, and it is a positive subconscious intention behind that. So, you know, to actually understand what is going on in a child's mind, that no child can do anything intentionally negative. Everything is a positive subconscious intention behind it. So to actually help that child to realise what that self-protection thing or intention really is possibly the best way to stop them from doing the same thing again. But you need to allow the child to actually realise that and come to that understanding on their own, I think.
And that's exactly actually what MVC is all about. It's actually a methodology to help them to come to the understanding, especially little ones that are just learning how to even understand their own feelings and even know what to put a name to a feeling or anything. But it can work with teenagers. I mean, it can work with adults that have never done it before. So for anybody that's interested in learning how to help someone get to that awareness and understanding, because it can be done together, like I said, there's so many resources. Just Google NVC, I think it was cnvc.org is the organization, and then there's just, it's called Nonviolent Communication. There's like a whole bunch of books, there's classes, there's trainings, there's on every subject, whether it's with kids, if you're doing it in a relationship, if it's in work, if it's, you know, you name it, there's just this volume written on this and how to make it put into action. Let's see, did somebody else? Oh, Carolina, you popped on. Hey, babe, I'm going to play you out. Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Come say hi, introduce yourselves. Then we've actually started into the topic, but you can just pop out and let everybody know who you are, where you are, all that fun stuff.
Hi, I'm Carolina Helen from Åland, and I'm actually a mother of 3. I have 2 teenagers and 1 pre-teenager, I think you can call it. So I'm kind of glad I jumped into this call. I kind of lost the time here in between because I was busy with my teenage daughter. And I have been a little bit listening here. I suppose you have been talking about the behavior of children, like fighting and stuff like that, or?
Our topic, and Lucy came up with it, was conscious parenting with non-resistance.
Yeah. Okay.
Resistance.
What I have been experiencing with the kids, and we have been like testing probably the most. I don't mean that my teenagers has been like quite calm kids and always been quite easy to handle, but then I got birth to this 3rd child, and it wasn't like at all like these 2 others. She is kind of more in the type of that I have been, I suppose. So she's like really have a hot temper, and I noticed that the things that I have been learning my 2 older kids haven't like been that easy to put over to her and to get her to take the things as the same as these 2 others. So we have like been really much working on the way to learn her to notice the feeling if you do something wrong to some other people. That probably has like been in some point been even done to her. So I try always to have her to look back and feel how did it feel when someone did that kind of thing to you, and to remember the thing and the feeling to make it like more like when you feel that feeling, it's hopefully doing that you want to that thing again to other, because you don't really want to have someone else to feel bad in the way you have been feeling either. So that's kind of something that I have been experiencing with my kids. It has been easier with the 2 teenagers, but and it's this little one that it's not that easy.
No. I believe our kids come to us all for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cherry, I'm going to go actually just across the panel here, left to right, just the way I see it. And if anybody wants to just hop on any point, just jump in. Especially, Lucy, since you brought up the topic, and I know if you've got a little bit of quickiness around you in terms of time and everybody around you. Agnes, you want to pop out?
Yes, why not? So I really love the subject, and I am so grateful to be here. I already learned so much wisdom here from you guys. I really appreciate it. And you know, because I came from Europe, they raised us so differently than how I try to raise my son. We're working on to have our freedom. So that's the perfect example. My son is only 3 years old. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's some echo for me. Okay, it's a little bit better. I try to give him, as much freedom as possible. So I know he's only 3 years old, and I am the parent, but like he has choice. He has choices, and when I try to give him freedom, it's like the school system, what you're trying to do, like CJ and Valerie, and I know John, they homeschooling, and you guys already given to your kids such a huge freedom, through the life. And I try to, connect with my son using his emotional intelligence. And I know when he's acting out, like I really try to learn it and figure it out, then what is going on behind his behavior, what he really needs. And because he's only 3 years old, most of the time he cannot put it in words. So I'm asking a lot of questions. Sometimes maybe for other parents it looks ridiculous when I am having a deep conversation with my son, but I don't care. The main focus, that my son trusts me. So he can tell me anything in day or night, whatever it's on his mind and why he's acting out. That's why I hardly have to use any punishment. And basically, the conscious parenting in my mind, then I build a trust in my son, then he can trust in me. And when he grows up, to the world and to other people also. And that's how I try to fill my son's heart and his mind, with acceptance, understanding, and confidence. And if I am successful to reach that goal, then he will have so much easier life than I had, when I was growing up. So I'm working to reach my freedom, and I giving him already his freedom. Okay, back to you, Valerie.
I love that, Agnes. That's so powerful that you're instinctively doing this. That you're asking him questions to figure out what he really needs. I find that just fascinating for me, because I'm trained. I took this training on what to do with NVC, and you're instinctively doing it.
You know why? Because I so believe.
Seriously.
I so believe. Then every children, all of them, they gift from God. It was not my choice. And we had with all of you with this deep conversation. Everybody has different beliefs, but I am very spiritual. So I know my son picked me to be his mommy in heaven. So I'm cherishing it, and I'm grateful, and I thank him. I know it sounds maybe silly for most of the people, but I thank him. Then he picked me, because he is the most wonderful boy ever.
Wow, but it's so sweet. It's so sweet, and you're a great role model.
Thank you, Valerie.
I'm moving on over now in the panel. CJ, on your island.
My island of craziness, I call it.
I love that in the background, by the way. I love that with all the drawers and everything is beautiful.
That's actually my bedroom set.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I couldn't sit on. I need the floor today. I'm very hyper today for some reason. So to put me in a chair was very bad. So I'm on the floor. For me, it's actually, this is a very touching part for me, and I'm a huge follower of Albert Einstein due to the fact of my oldest, because he reminds me of Albert Einstein. And there is actually a quote that is one of my favorites. If you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be very intelligent, read them more fairy tales. And it's so true, because people limit their children and they don't allow them to explore and communicate and be open, because there's such a statistics that we have to hold with other people and around others individually, that children are not allowed to be children anymore. And that is really the saddest thing, and that's one of the reasons why I brought my children home from the public school, is because of that reason. With Manuel, he is 9 and he is now in 4th grade, but from kindergarten up until 3rd grade, it was really hard for him to focus, and it was really hard for him to be in a public school environment, because he's not a structured student. He's not an individual that can be told to sit in a desk for 4 hours a day and not move and have to listen to someone talk. He needs to express himself. He needs to be able to move around. He needs to be able to hang upside down if that's how he wants to read his book, or crawl underneath his desk and lay on his back with his feet in the air, or lay on his stomach and make a fort. That's his way. And in the society of life, they don't allow that anymore. And Albert Einstein, that's one of the things he teaches, is that children need to be able to express themselves in their form, not in the form of what people feel they should be seen as. And that was the reason why I chose to pull him home, because the school system really was not allowing my oldest to explore in the manner in which he should be able to explore life and be a child and live life to the fullest. And it was so sad to see him come home every day and just frustrated and not enjoying life and just not smiling and being happy. And that's what a boy is. Boys are the ones that go dig holes in the yard and fill it with water and pretend that it's a lake and splish splash until they're covered head to toe in mud. I mean, climb trees, roll in the grass, lay on the grass, look up at the sky, and imagine these funky story cloud characters. And to be able to communicate with brothers is huge, because boys have so much to say. And I say this all the time with my husband, like, we'll get in a car and the 3 boys are in the back seat and all they do is talk nonstop. I'm like, guys, really? We're in the car. Do you have to talk still? But especially with boys have to be able to be open. Boys have a lot to say, especially when they're younger. And Joan also knows what I'm going through, and Valerie, now that she's got the twin 5-year-old, she's starting to understand what we're going through. And it's just, boys especially, they really need to have that open consciousness, that freedom, that one-on-one talking, not you're being punished because of this, or you're being sent to in-school suspension because you're running around the classroom while everybody else is sitting still reading because you're the strange one. So and that's really why I brought my boys home, and now I'm done with my rant.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know, and I love it. Like you'll head off to the beach and do things with them, and he says it's a cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just spur of the moment. My mom, and I follow that too. My husband and myself. I mean, we woke up Saturday morning. My mom took the kids for the weekend because she hasn't seen them for a while. So my mom took the kids. Saturday morning, my husband and I woke up and like, what do you want to do today? Well, there's a tattoo convention. Let's go to the tattoo convention. And while we're there, we both got inked. So no, like, no plan of action. We just kind of enjoy life and just take it by moment by moment. And my husband's got a huge shoulder piece. I've got a new one on my wrist, and they updated my foot for me. But again, we just went to look, not expecting to get inked, and came home inked.
Oh my goodness. Love it. I just realized I zipped over Cherry there. Cherry, are you there? Your video was working for a second there.
Yeah, I'm here.
You want to pop out? Let's see if we can get you to.
Okay.
No, you know what? It's totally black now. Now we're not even seeing.
Hold on. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Me?
I hopped over you to get to CJ.
That's okay.
You know what I think it does? I think it lists everybody alphabetically by their first.
There. That's it. Is that okay?
I'm kind of sussing it out for myself here.
Can you see me, guys?
There we go. Ah, there you go. We can see you. Yay! Yay!
My computer woke up, you know.
Yay!
Yeah, I've been actually listening to all of you, and you know, I must agree, parenting is very, very challenging. For one thing, you know, every child is unique and different. They have, even, you know, even for brothers and sisters, you know, they have different needs. And as a parent, that's quite challenging to like really know, okay, what do they need at this particular moment? Because it can change from 1 minute to the next, right? And also they're trying to, you know, they're young. They're still trying to process what's happening around them, right? And I think as parents, we normally tend to, why did you take my camera? Oh, you go get it again, sorry. And I think as parents, you know, and as adults, we tend, I think, to forget that we're dealing with kids. Because we've been so used to our adult life, at least that's what I realized, you know, when I started to become like a single mom, actually. Every night I would lie down in bed and I'm thinking, have I done my duty, or have I been a good mom today? And it just feels like I'm not doing the right thing, but I just, you know, I just really tried to, like, every day I wake up and just really try to do my best to be a good parent to my daughter. Now she's 5.5 years old, basically. And I see now, you know, that I think that you just really have to try your best. And for me, the most beneficial thing that I did for my daughter is really spend time with her. You know, I think that's the greatest thing that I've really done for us, for her, and for myself, is to be, you know, is to really quit my job and really spend time with her and get to know her. Because in the process, then I know what kind of personality, what kind of character she has, right? Not from what I've actually expected, but because she's unique. So right from the start, I've recognized that. So this is a different person. I need to get to spend time to get to know her, so I know how to raise her, how to guide her. And I think, you know, that's conscious parenting, because I wasn't raised that way. I came from a culture that is very, very different. You know, and aside from a culture that is very, very conservative, I actually grew up and with nuns. So I grew up in a Catholic school. So when in my childhood is constantly bombarded with fear, you know, and with guilt. And they always, to that point, actually, I think in elementary, that I remember I was crying because, why was I crying? Oh yeah, I was crying because I forgot to pray. And my mom asked me, why are you crying? Well, I said, because I'm going to hell. Because that's what I was told, that I was going to hell, you know, if I don't pray. And I just forgot to pray. And you know what I did? And I was in elementary. I punished myself. I didn't eat. I went fasting. And my father, I remember him coming up to the room. He said, you have to eat something. And I said, no, I have to fast, because that's how I felt. I was so bad that I forgot to pray. But, you know, as I grew up, actually, I realized that that's the world that I live in. And so these limiting beliefs that I have, that's where it came from. And having that consciousness as I was growing up, I really made that commitment that I'm going to raise my daughter differently. I'm not saying that everything in my culture is bad, but, you know, I get to take the good things And then, living also in Europe, I get to learn another cultures and also, try to incorporate the things that I have learned from there. And that's what I basically do now, and with you guys, from the things that I'm learning from you. So constantly, every day, I'm really, really trying to learn how to be a good parent. So, and I think that's conscious parenting, and I think it's really very, very important. In the same way that as we go through life, we need to set our intentions. In this, it's actually the same when we are raising our kids. There always needs to be that intention, how we want to raise them. And I don't really see my daughter as just a child. I treat her like an individual person with her own identity that I need to respect, so that she will also learn that, by me setting an example. So yeah, that's basically my take on conscious parenting. And it's difficult. It's very difficult to do it. But, I'm sure all of us are committed to doing that. We just really need to remind ourselves all the time, And I think the one thing too that I want to mention is, and this has been a struggle at the beginning between me and my husband, because you see, he was also raised differently, right? Every household is different. And I just need to, we needed to come together and say, look, we need to have consistency, right? And I think that's another factor too that, needs to be considered when we think about conscious parenting, recognizing that, even with your spouse, he may have a different way or thinking of raising a child, right? So that needs to be addressed. And I think I see it here, because I'm in Berkeley, there's so many parents here, and that's really one of the struggle of the parents. They're not consistent, and so they end up fighting, and then the children could see that, and they end up being confused. So that's just really my observation. So yeah, I think this is a really very good topic. Thank you so much, Lucy. I think that hopefully whoever is listening, we're able to give them some value, because I think that's very important, very important. So thank you.
Yeah, and I would actually love to hop out to somebody that can see in the chat. Do you have any comments? Anybody that's put some comments in there? And if you haven't already, to please put your thoughts in there on this.
I'll check for you right now, Val.
Yeah, see, I don't know if we have any, but I totally forgot to ask people to do that at the beginning. But so if anybody would say hi, do shout out, anything there, CJ?
We have Nicole from Cleveland. Hey, honey.
Hey, Nicole. Hey, baby.
And that is it. So yes, make sure you add your comments, say hello, say where you're watching from.
Cool. Yeah, and if you're watching this in the replay, know that our intention is energetically you're with us here. And you really are, because time and space are sort of like a construct, but in reality, we really are energetically all together. So feel that you are with us, and that you can comment, and we will go back in and check and see and comment on that. So again, if you happen to be watching this in the replay, feel like energetically we are here with you, and we appreciate that you're here with us as well. I'm going to go and pass it on over to Fizza. You're up.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts. It's really powerful topic, and I'm just learning from all of you. And what I believe is conscious parenting is actually the way we connect with our kids, and it's very important that we should have to have a strong belief to connect with our children, just to help them to develop as a responsible and mature adult in future. So it is our responsibility to act in a very calm and confident way to connect and engage with our kids, because I tell you about myself. Then when my daughter, most of the time when she come back from school, she's hungry and she gets so cranky. And in the beginning, I did not realize that was the problem with her, and I start shouting on her, "Why you are doing this? Why da 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 da?" And then I realized, no, this is not her fault. There must be some fault with me. Why I am behaving like that? Then I just start observing her, that why she's very cranky when she back from school, And then I was like, no, she's hungry. That's crying. So, and then as soon as she come home, I just help her in changing her uniform, and then I went to the kitchen and I just bring her food, and then I sit with her and start giving her food with my hand, and the way I feel the happiness and a smile on her face, that's make me very happy that, oh, I got the clue. I got the clue. And and from that day, I decide, no, I don't have to react immediately. I should have to observe her. I don't have to be argumentative with her when she is upset. I should have to give her a chance to speak up. What's the problem with her? So if, as a parent, we understand our children's behavior, so that will really help us in solving her problems rather than becoming cranky with them. And this will shatter their confidence. So I was reading one thing on one website about conscious parenting, and I just want to share with you all that we should have to fill the heart and mind of our children with acceptance, understanding, and confidence. Because how we are behaving with them, that's totally, they connect with those emotions, and those emotions become the emotional memories with them. And when they grow up, they just use it as a reference that, mom, when I came back from school on that day, you behave like that, and they give the reference. So I, from that day, started trying to leave on her mind the good emotional memories rather than the bad ones. Because whenever we have any bad emotional memories, or whenever we have bad memories, that's really change our mood, that's really change our emotions and body gestures. So, because I remember when I recall my childhood, and I told my mom, when I was 6 years old or 7 years old, you said no just for nothing. And that's really, at that time, that I really hurt. And my mom said no, and then she said, I'm so sorry, because I was so busy in all the kitchen work and everything that I did not listen to you. So, but I recall that thing as a bad memory. And I tried not to do these things with my daughter, and I always try to be friendly with her. And when my husband is angry with Nabira, so I just told him, so please don't do that. Try to be loving with her. Try to connect with her. Then I started talking to her like, okay, mom and dad are your friend. We are your friend. Whatever problem you have, whatever issues you have, just discuss with us. If you need something, just tell me or your dad. So she got the confidence that my parents are there, my mom is there. Whenever I need anything, my mom will provide that to me. So this is developing her confidence. So conscious parenting is very, very important, because sometimes if we don't listen to children, then they will find other ways. They will go out of their comfort zone. They will go to the neighbors, to their friends' parents, and this is not good. And they stop sharing things with us because we don't have time, we don't have to listen to them. So because I learned from my experience, from my childhood, that please, whenever your child is talking to you, just give and listen to him or her and pay attention. Don't take it for granted, like you are watching TV and your child is talking to you. You will just keep on watching TV rather than looking at your child. Just have an eye contact. That's really, really very important. Once you have an eye contact, then your child will be like, okay, that my parent is giving me importance, so now I should have to discuss with them. And if we will not give them importance and we will just taking them for granted, so they will also take us for granted. So if we want love from our kids, if we want respect from them, we should have to be a model first. We should have to respect them. We should have to love them, and we should have to be with them all the time whenever they need us. So I would like to share three tips which I learned after browsing on website, because I have going through a very tough time with my daughter, how to deal with that. So the one thing that I want to share is that start building a more influential relationship with your child by checking your language. Whenever you are talking to your child, don't ever be sarcastic. Never ever. Be very polite. Check your tones. And second one is check your expectation. Like most of the parents, they have lots of expectation from 6 years old child. Like they should have to behave, they want them to behave like 10 or 11 years old child. So this is impossible, that how can 6 years old behave like 11-year-old? Even I'm like this, I am on early 40s and I still behave like a child because I don't want to grow up. I don't want to grow up because, oh, come on, life is to enjoy it.
Yeah. I love it.
So this is very important. This is very important, and don't try to impose unnecessary things on your child. Just treat them as a child. Because, oh, come on, life is too short to enjoy. Let them enjoy and you will enjoy with them. Third thing is check your self-regulations, like check your manners, have a check on yourself first, then check your children. If you don't know anything, if you don't have any manners, then how you expect your child to be a well-mannered child? How you expect them to behave in a proper way? This is totally very, very, very wrong that most of the parents, I know few parents that they don't know how to behave with other people and they expect their children to respect them, to love them. But if you will not be a model for your child, so how you expect them to behave? I don't know whether you people agree or not, but I do believe that if you want other people to respect you, you should have to respect them first.
Yeah.
Treat everyone as you want to be treated. Treat your child as you want them to treat you.
Yeah.
And always give a chance to your children to talk. Just spend time with them. Just take out time from your busy schedule to spend with your children. If you have 6 children, just don't treat all of them with the same stick. No, all the children have individuality. They have their own mindset, own attitude. So try to understand, try to love them. Don't take all 6 of them equally. No. Like if one needs more attention, give that child more attention. Otherwise, he or she become cranky and he start doing those things which gets your attention. Or he trying to do like throwing things or tantrums and like this. So automatically you are able to give attention to that child. Don't wait for that situation.
Yeah.
Trust me, if you have a good relationship with your child, you will be a very happy life with them.
Yeah, it's so brilliant. I love your example you gave that you figured it out. You kind of like you're like a detective. When she came home and you wanted to figure out what was going on, and you sussed out. And sometimes the need is something quite physical, like hungry or tired or I'm cold or whatever. I mean, we were at the pool yesterday and Jordan was cold. He'd gotten out of the pool. He didn't want to swim anymore. He was cold. And I was like, that's it. I'm cold. I want to be warm. And the other one was wanting to play more. She had one that had a need for play, one that had a need to warm up, and had to kind of like suss out between the two of them. But I love that, you know, you went in and assessed that, and you know, all of that, you know, so, I mean, all of these tips. Anybody who's watching this, take notes, and everything that everybody's sharing is really powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. I want to go on because we're getting to the top of the hour, and I want to make sure that everybody else has a chance to talk. But I mean, Fizza, brilliant. Please, everybody, if you haven't watched it, you know, she dropped some golden gems in there. I'm going to come on over to...
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, because this is what I learned from my experiences, and I love to share with you all in this hangout. This is the quality of this hangout, you know, that we learn from each other.
It's beautiful. I mean, really, really powerful, powerful stuff. I'm going to come on over to Joan. Oh.
Okay.
There you go. Hi.
Awesome. That was great stuff, Fizza. Thank you so much for sharing. That's very awesome, awesome. I think, like you said in the beginning, Val. What did you say? When there's a lot of like stress in the family or stress within yourself, it kind of, you said that the kids feel it, and it totally it kind of just flows through them also, and that's a really difficult part, because I know for myself, like Cherry said, the way that we were brought up, or the way that you were brought up, that kind of passes down towards you also. And as in conscious parenting, you kind of have to acknowledge that, and to kind of catch yourselves and say, oh, maybe the way that I was brought up, you know, be thankful for that, but there's other ways that you can do that. For myself, I had very controlling parents, controlling mother. Okay. And sometimes I catch myself being that same way with my kids, and I know that's not the right way to go. So, you know, to be able to catch yourself, acknowledge it, and to be able to fix that, it really starts within yourself. And as mothers, like you said, Valerie, for us to be aware of that, because a lot of people are not aware of that. A lot of people aren't aware of how they are teaching their kids, or how they're parenting, or what they're passing down to their kids. A lot of people aren't aware of that. So to be able to catch that, and to be able to improve that within yourself, that is, like I said, is and what everybody here said, is extremely difficult to kind of re-teach yourself how to be with your kids, and how to be conscious with your kids like that. For me, I know with my boys, like everybody else here said, they go through different things, and they are only very young. They don't know how to express their feelings. They don't know how to. They don't know. Sometimes they don't know how to think about other people, or they just don't know. And so to be patient with them, for me being patient, and getting a lot of people, I notice. And that what I've learned, a lot of people look down to their kids when they're trying to tell them something and to discipline them. But when you actually bend down, get on your knees, and get an eye level with them, and get an eye contact with them, then they feel that connection, and they will share with you more about how they're feeling. And a book that I've read that really had helped me is 5 Languages of Love for Children. And it's basically just feeding them love, 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 and they'll respond to you better. They'll respond to you more. They'll listen. You know, you'll find yourself listening to them more, and they will listen to you more if they feel this abundant amount of pouring love. They will just respond to you much more. And then by doing that, you kind of have to spend time with your children, get to know how they feel most loved. Like with my oldest, he feels most loved when I spend tons of time with him. With my other children, one of them, my second one, I feel like that he loves spending time with each other. He loves hugging and cuddling. And the other ones don't. There was one of my kids don't really like that. But to know that language, what they love to do, and fill that love bucket, they'll respond so much better to, to what you're saying. They'll respond a lot better to, any, and for them to tell you, how they're feeling. They'll respond better, and they'll just let you know how you feel without any barriers, like without being judged. So that book's really helped me out, and I'm trying to figure all this out too, because I don't want the feelings of how I was brought up to pass down to them. So yeah, everybody here said some awesome, really good tips about conscious parenting, and it's work. It's not easy, and you've got to put in time and energy, and you've got to want to do it to make it happen. So
yeah, and that's brilliant. And Joan, can you put the name of that book in the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, put the name. I love that. I love that. Carolina, I'm coming back to you. I don't know if you're still there. You're off camera. If not, I think she might have run away. We'll come back to you, Carolina. If you come back, just call her out. Lucy, back over to you. I'm sure you got so much just downloaded. It was great. I'm so happy you came up with this topic.
I feel like an absolute learner after listening to you lot. Well, there's so much I hadn't even thought about, and yeah, I mean, I came up with the topic because, to be honest, my kids are so much older than everyone else's, and it's been quite a while since I've had little kids, and you forget, and I've been listening to Wayne Dyer recently, and his attitude was about non-resistant parenting. Let the child come to you when they're hungry. Don't enforce them to eat it. So that kind of thing. I've been listening to a lot of him, and I wanted to hear what you lot thought about it as well, because this little is becoming a bit of a handful. Honey, darling. Yeah. So yeah, it's been lovely actually to listen to you. And I think I may have been misunderstood with some of my phrases in the beginning, because I think yes, I think some of what I said might have been mistaken a little bit. But it's been really actually quite fantastic listening to you, particularly Fizzer. Fizzer, you just an absolute gem today. Absolutely full of it. It's fantastic to hear you speak. This has been lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's been really nice to see your face again. It really is. Yeah, it's been fabulous.
Yeah.
Missed you.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I missed you all too.
It's a lot. I mean, I have such respect. If you come out the wee hours of the morning for you, massive determination and challenge, and you're doing it. It's really powerful for you to come out, because we set the time difference to attempt to be able to get everybody in Australia and New Zealand to be able to come on and stuff. If it's too early, 8 o'clock in the morning was the earliest I could pull off, but I'm thinking like, oh my goodness, this is coming on at 1 in the morning, and I know some people come on at 3 in the morning for them. All these crazy times. So I really.
It's 2:10 now here.
Yeah, 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning, and you're on, and I'm like, I got to get up at 7 to get on at 8, right? So, but yeah. So I really, truly appreciate you being here. And Lucy, there we go, back to you, Lucy. Yeah, Lucy, I mean, just it's so powerful. You know what? I have, and this is one of the things, because I used to do this. One of the things in the past is I realized I had to go away from doing the parenting thing, because I would get very emotional. I had such negative emotions from my childhood that when I would see, or it would seem like, whenever I hear, like even the word discipline, and I'm like, I get like this, because I think such a negative, personal negative connotation in my life with it, and so no, I mean, I have such appreciation for you with that. I mean, it just, with everything and all the content that came out, but I've stayed away from the topic for a long time, talking about it, because it riles up so much emotion inside of me. From my childhood, really, not wanting to recreate, all of that. But sometimes for me, I mean, I love listening to what everybody else is saying in here, because it's so powerful reminders, all of it. Seriously, folks watching this, and this is one of those, to go back and take notes from what everybody's spoken here has released gems. so many different gems on all of this. I mean, if we put this together, we'd have an amazing book. There's just so much content that we all came up with here. But this is like a really one of those to come back to, especially if you go through any times of forgetting. But I've such appreciation for everybody here and all of you, and Lucy, my goodness, for bringing up the topic and what you know, instinctively. You know what I find powerful is that instinctively, so many of us are doing things that, you know, like I said, I had to study because from my background, if I were to just do what I was raised with, it would have been really bad, you know. And you know, and again, my parents have changed. Just saying, you know, but you know, you live and learn and grow. But I love. What was I going to say? Because I wanted to bring it up to kind of pinpoint. It's one of the things that you were talking about. But yeah, just really the whole thing of understanding behavior and checking ourselves and all that. There's just so many golden gems. I'm attempting to like you know, put a pin on top of a lot of them so it stays with people's awareness. But just you might want to watch it again and take down the notes and all this, because there's just been literally gem after gem. And anybody of you watching this, and you've got your own gems to release on this, ideas, tips, anything, some of the examples, or you know things like, I mean, I just think it's so beautiful that where that example, I learn well from examples. That whole idea of digging in and looking underneath the tip of the iceberg of the behavior as to what's really going on, and it can be something as simple as they're hungry, for goodness sake, right? Something that simple that can readjust the, you know, and for me, this is something I've learned from me. If I'm tired, if I'm hungry, if my needs, just even basic needs, are not being met, I can be not as able to resonate with them as well. Like, it's like I have to putting your oxygen mask on first. So I have to really watch myself when I'm tired, because when I'm tired, I have less. I have to really focus hard, really make a conscious parenting, really conscious effort to not reflex react to anything with my kids, because my needs. I'm not regulated. I think you used the word regulated, Fizza. I'm not regulated. When I'm tired or I'm stressed, or this is why for me, first thing in the morning, getting keyed into my personal development, getting myself grounded, making sure that I'm eating breakfast, making sure that I'm getting the exercise, all the different things that I need, that we need ourselves. If my oxygen mask isn't on, then I can't be there for my kids. And that's why I have such gratitude here also just for this business and what we do, because if not for what we do, I wouldn't even have the ability to have any of this, and it would be just running to work and running back and barely functioning, barely seeing the kids. And I just have such gratitude for what we have. And if I'll be wondering, going, yeah, I wish I could do that, but I work and it's hard and blah, 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 you know, there's a reason why you're here. And you can connect with us below, and, you know, we can show you the ropes of what it is that we do. But I just have, you know, absolute gratitude for all of you. Does anybody else want to pop out with any thoughts or anything at all, just like random? Just jump up, holler, and I'll click the video on you.
I just want to share one thing. Like, I told about Nabira. That when she's hungry, she started crying. So that's what had happened with me. So I just controlled that first, and I realized that okay, why I become cranky, why I am started behaving like that, and once I realized that thing, that's why I can easily figure it out in her. That what's the problem with my daughter? Why she's so cranky? Why this is that? And now, before she gets to that level where she starts becoming cranky, and when she started crying, I give her food. I give her something to eat, whether fruit, whether a carrot, banana, or biscuit, or whatever she likes. So I don't want her to be on that stage, because I realize it on myself. I realize it, and I overcome that thing. So that's why I'm saying that we should have to observe us first, then we can only able to observe our child's behavior.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Powerful, 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 Fizza. I love it. I love it. So, CJ, since you were looking on the page before, you want to see if you've got any other comments on the page? You're our page monitor today. I hope that's okay.
I'll check right now for you. Joan posted her book, The 5 Languages of Love for Children.
Thank you, Joan.
Yes, thank you, hon. That's awesome. And then Nicole put a comment. I'm a mother of 3, 2 boys, 16 and 13, and a baby girl, 7. I had to learn how to treat my kids as individuals, but also instill in them positive beliefs. It was very easy, and it still isn't, but I think they understand that I care about their opinions and what it is that they want. But if they have made a not-so-good decision, I try and understand where their behavior came from. I think they appreciate you more when you talk to your kids and not physically disciplining them, especially my oldest. I love being a mom, but I know they chose to be with me and has taught me very valuable lessons throughout my parenting. The key is unconditional love. Yes, sister. Completely feel you. Totally feel you.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you. That's powerful. And anybody and all the other folks, as you're watching this, if you're watching the replay, please, we would love your comments, love stuff like that. And it really helps everybody else as well. We all learn from each other, and I know I've taken some great tips as well here, and I just have such great appreciation for all of you. So, anything else? Any other last comments? Anyone? Otherwise, we'll go jumping out. Anybody?
Yeah. Can I just point something out that you mentioned earlier on, your reaction to the word discipline. It's a perfect example of how we speak to our kids can affect their future. I mean, to me, discipline is being in control of yourself and responsible for your actions. That's disciplined to me. But Val, that was a perfect example of how the words we use around our kids can have an effect on them as they grow. Because it means a different thing to some than it does to others. So it's really, really important to be watching how you speak to your children as well. Really, really is important.
Yeah, and yeah, and for me, I mean, you can see I'm still working with it. I hear a word that like sets me off. I'm like, oh my goodness, I mean, it's a process. I mean, that's how powerful. I mean, my negative childhood, and I hear a word that reminds me of my negative childhood, and I go into an emotional space. I mean, it's and a lot of people are just walking around reflex reacting to stuff too. And I'm conscious of this process, and I still do it. So it's like, imagine if somebody is not even consciously working on themselves, what's happening and the kind of damage that we can, inflict on our kids if we're not. I mean, this is why I'm so passionate about it, because I know what it did to me, and I know that as an adult I'm still dealing with it. And I'm consciously working with it, and it's still challenging. It's so. That's why I have such appreciation for all of you and all the incredible positive things that you're doing, with your kids and all these different examples. And I think there's a reason for everything. When Lucy, I just threw it out last night, going, "Hey, I'm tired. I can't think straight. Let's come up with a great topic." And Lucy threw this out, and I was like, "Yes," But everything happens for a reason.
I threw it out because I knew it would be an emotional topic. I knew it would get emotions going, so that's why I chose.
Well, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. I've avoided it for a long time simply because I have such emotions wrapped around it, massive emotions. So, but I have absolute appreciation to do this with this hangout. And, this is a gem that I would give to any mama to as a starting point, to really help with wherever you're at. So. Anybody else? Any other comments? We're like almost an hour and a half on this. Is a bit of a longer hangout. We do.
I just posted a comment on the feed page.
Okay.
It's a video link to Joel Osteen. It's a very powerful. He calls them sermons, but this one I really feel everyone should watch. It's about 30 minutes long, and it's about the word of I am, how powerful I am is, and what you follow the I am with.
Cool. Thank you. I love that, and I'll also post the link also to the cnbc.org, and you can capture all those. I mean, once you get in there, there's like a treasure trove of stuff on nonviolent communication in all areas of just books, classes, you name it, it's all in there. So you can follow up with that as well. So we'll have tons of resources. And for those of you, all of you, if you're watching this, whoever brought you here, if you're wanting, if you realize, there's stress in your life and everything else, and you want to be able to have the ability to be with your kids and have that time and do these things, and freedom to do some of the things that we're doing, then click the button below and you can find out what it is that we're up to, and we'd love to connect with you. Maybe, who knows, one day you'll be with us here on the Hangout sharing your wonderful gems in person, like face-to-face with us. We'd love that. So, love you all, and yeah, we'll see you all next week. And as during the week, if some stuff comes up, have great ahas as well, feel free, throw in anytime we're in here. And even suggestions for topics, if there's stuff you'd love to see us cover. So love you all. See you all next week.